TGIF, Friday, the 23rd of October, 2020. Pastor Ron Jetter, Immanuel Lutheran Church, taking a little side trip today. By the way, I just have to show you this. It is warming up even as we speak. Right now, it is all the way up to 26. It was 24 when I got up a while ago. It has finally arrived. I think that's going to pull the sap back down into the roots, into the ground, out of those leaves and the limbs and the branches, and I think the leaves will finally start to turn. Chapter 6 of the book of Exodus takes that side turn. It's kind of like driving across, I-90, and you see a sign that says Corn Palace, and you think, well, what's that? Let's go take a look. Or Wall Drug. I've never been to either of the Dakotas. Been to Minnesota, been to Montana, been all around the area, but there are a number of states I've never been to. So someday we're going to hitch up our trailer to our Tahoe and drive across and camp our way across there. We'd like to go and see where my late father-in-law was from, in Vollen, near Yankton, not too far from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and we'd like to see some things along the way. I'd like to take some side trips. So chapter 6 starts off with God saying to Moses, I'm going to deliver you. Go tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to let the Israelites go. Moses spoke to the Lord, the Israelites have not listened to me. How shall Pharaoh listen to me, poor speaker that I am? Thus the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron and gave them orders regarding the Israelites and the king of Pharaoh, charging them to free the Israelites from the land. Well, it sounds like rehashing what has already happened in chapter 5. You'll find a lot of that in here. Why does it retell the story? And again, it goes back to these different sources, different traditions emphasize different things. And one of those emphasizes the fact that Moses and Aaron are of the descendants of Levi. And so what we get in chapter 14 or chapter 6 of verse 14 of the book of Exodus, the genealogy. And here's what's interesting. Remember Israel, his name was Jacob. God changed it to Israel after he wrestled with an angel and got his hip put out of joint. Israel's son Joseph went down to Egypt, and then the 11 brothers ended up there too. So we're going to get the genealogy. It starts with Reuben, who was, as it says, the firstborn of Israel. And it gives Reuben's sons, and then Simeon, who was the second-born son. Okay, and then finally we get to Levi, the third. And now it doesn't really matter. That's all. The only reason that Reuben and Simeon are even mentioned is because they're older than Levi. But it's all about Levi. It's all about Levi, because Levi and the descendants of Levi are not going to inherit land. The other 10 brothers will, along with the 2 sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh. Their descendants will inherit land. Remember when Israel said, your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, belong to me. They're now Israelites, and they will travel back. Well, 400 years later, their descendants will travel back. But this is about Levi. Why Levi? Well, it goes all the way through, and it gets to the father of Aaron and the father of Moses. These are 2 brothers. The name Amram, or Amram, married Jochebed in verse 20. And that's the mother of Moses and of Aaron. Well, why is that so important? Well, it's because the Levites, as the sons and daughters of Levi shall be called, have a special mission, a special charge. And we will trace that throughout the book of Exodus. And then it returns to the story. It was this same Aaron and Moses to whom the Lord said, bring the Israelites out of the land of Egypt. So they want to make sure that the whole family lineage gets credit for what Aaron and Moses are going to do. Now we go back to the story, just in time to end the chapter. On the day when the Lord spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, he said to him, I am the Lord. Tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that I am speaking to you. But Moses said in the Lord's presence, since I am a poor speaker, why would Pharaoh listen to me? This is now the third time we have heard Moses complaining that he's not a good speaker. And God has already said, that's why your brother Aaron is with you. Yeah. Did they really have that conversation 3 times? Or is that simply the way the Bible chooses to present it? It could be some of each. It could be that Moses is continually complaining. But we have to jump to chapter 7 to really get back to the story. Now that we know there's this hint, something to hang on the wall. Okay, we've got our souvenir, our refrigerator magnet that says, pay attention to the descendants of Levi. Something special about Levi. Chapter 7, verse 1, the Lord said to Moses, see, I have made you like God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron shall be your prophet. You shall speak all that I command to you, and your brother Aaron shall tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. But I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and I will multiply my signs and wonders. When Pharaoh does not listen to you, I will lay my hand upon Egypt and bring my people, the Israelites, company by company, out of the land of Egypt by great acts of judgment. The Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I stretch out my hand against Egypt and bring the Israelites out from among them. Moses and Aaron did so. They did just as the Lord commanded them. Moses was 80 years old, Aaron 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. So now go way back to when Moses was killing the newborn boys of the Hebrews. So it must have started after Aaron was born and was in force during the time when Moses was born. And Moses, as we know, survived. So these brothers are 3 years apart, Aaron being the elder and Moses the younger. So how long was Moses in Midian? Remember he had that son there, Gershon, and other sons by Zipporah, his wife? Well, I'm guessing that Gershon had kids, and Gershon's kids had kids, and maybe those kids had kids. 80 years, because Moses had to have been fairly young when he murdered the Egyptian taskmaster and fled. And he's now 80 years old. Wow, pardon me, I've got to have a sip of coffee here. Wow, even the house is taking its time warming up. It's just that way when you have bricks and foundations made of stone and cement. It kind of sucks the heat out, and it takes a while because we do turn the heat down at night. I'm sure you do the same. So I hope you're staying warm today. Chapter 7, verse 8. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, when Pharaoh says to you, perform a wonder, then you shall say to Aaron, take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a snake. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did as the Lord commanded. Aaron threw down his staff before Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a snake. Then Pharaoh summoned the wise men and the sorcerers, and they also, the magicians of Egypt, did the same by their secret arts. Each one threw down his staff, and they became snakes. But Aaron's staff swallowed up theirs. Still, Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he would not listen to them as the Lord had said. Again, these are now parlor tricks. They're going to then do the one-upmanship. Well, I can do that and you can do that. Remember, God gave Moses a staff. And again, we have these images in our mind because of Cecil B. DeMille and the movie. It was Charlton Heston holding that staff. And yet in the real story in the Bible, Moses is saying, okay, Aaron, do the staff thing. Because remember, God gave Aaron the same set of tricks, the same magic arts that Moses had. And Aaron was the one who was going to be the showman here. Moses is the one who's saying, okay, I'm here and my brother's gonna speak for me. Okay, Aaron, do the, and Aaron, behold, Yeah, so I don't remember who played Aaron in the Cecil B. DeMille film. Do you? Okay, here's a piece of trivia. Cecil B.'s wife, Agnes DeMille, was a dancer, choreographer, and because of her, whenever there's a musical produced, I think down to this day, there will be a certain amount of dancing in there, a certain percentage or a certain number of minutes of dance scenes. That's in order to protect the dancers union so that they have work. And boy, did they work in the movie The Ten Commandments. Boy, did they. They had fantastic costumes and great music. That's what makes stuff fun. But they do have to embellish the real story. See you tomorrow.